Hey, it's Alexis. We need to have a little conversation. I got back into reading the end of 2022 and kind of did this. I bought all these books and now I just have a lot of books at my house. I was buying books just because somebody would mention the name and I'm like, oh, need to read it. Or I'd see a book at the store and I'm like, oh, that book is so pretty, buying it. That's a problem, and I'm working on that problem. So far this year, it's the middle of March when I'm filming this. So far this year, I've bought 13 books and I've read 4 of those 13 that I bought already. That's an improvement because I would buy like 13 a week before, so go me. But I'm working on my overconsumption of books because I've been feeling really bad about myself lately because of having all these books. So I thought it would be fun for me to go through these books and just show you the ones that I'm getting rid of. I did have these listed on my Pango for a while, for over a month, and none of them sold. Well, I mean, I sold 39, but none of these sold. So these are now going to be my little free library video stock. But while I'm going through them, if there's any of these that you have read and you really enjoyed and you want to see my reaction to, let me know and I will read it before I unhaul it. Most of these books I have not read, but there are some that I have and I will tell you the ones I read. This is a lot of books. I want to say there's like 300 something here. So yeah, that's a big issue, but I'm working on it. Like I said, I'm getting rid of these. I'm very, very sorry that I bought this many books, but like I said, I'm working on it this year. So I don't know where to start. But most of the ones I'm getting rid of that I haven't read, I spent an entire day. You can ask my husband. He was kind of annoyed by it, but I spent an entire day just reading the first chapter of every one of these books I haven't read, and decided that I was getting rid of it. But if there's still one that you think that I would like because you loved it, or you just want to see my reaction because you loved it, let me know and I'll pull it out of the stack and I will read it. I guess we'll just jump right into the first stack of books. Okay, so first up we have The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight by Jennifer E. Smith. We have Shark Heart, A Love Story by Emily Habeck. The Stand-In by Lily Chu. We have Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice, and I don't know how to pronounce this author's last name, but it's Katie. We have The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. Wreck the Halls by Tessa Bailey. We have Fireworks, and I don't know how to pronounce this author's last name either, but her name's also Katie. We have Read Between the Lines by Rachel Lacey. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzask. Now the rest of this stack is books that I have read. So we have The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armaz, and we also have The Long Game by Elena Armaz. I really liked this book, and I hated this one. So I kind of have mixed feelings on this author now. Then we have Colleen Hoover, November 9th. It starts with us, reminders of him, and it ends with us. With all the controversy going on with her, I'm just getting these off my shelf. And I read all of these in 2023, and then I reread this one in 2024, like right before the movie came out, and it dropped like 3 stars in my rating system. So I just don't think I like her writing anymore. Like, how is it that drastic in only a year? Like, that's crazy. And then this one I actually DNF'd, but we have The Valentine's Hate by Sydney Halstead. Okay, apparently I have like 3 copies of this one that I'm getting rid of because I also have the collector's edition in one of these stacks. But this one I started to like annotate. Never finished it. Then we have On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. All We Were Promised by Ashton Lattimore. This is actually an art copy that I received. It was released in April of 2024. I started to read it. Looks like I made it to page 15, which is chapter 2. But I just was not in the mood for this at the time. And then I just don't think I'm ever going to pick it up because I haven't since then. So then we have The Midnight Lie by Marie Bartowski. Then we have Looking for Alaska by John Green. I never read that as a kid. I know some people did, but I never read it. We have The Only Purple House in Town by Anne Aguirre. This one was also an art copy. It says it released July 11th, 2023. I've had this one for a while, never picked it up. Then we have By the Book by Jasmine Guillory. The Undoing of Thistle Tate by Caitlin Detweiler. This one sounds really interesting to me, but it's really young adult and I just don't think I'm going to read it. We have The Fill-In Boyfriend by Casey West. We have Where the Heart Is by Billy Lutz. So I picked this up in a Little Free Library video, and I was really excited for it, but I read the first chapter, and I just don't think I like the book, but I love the movie. Then we have OCD Love Story by Corey Ann Haydu. This was my all-time favorite book when I was in junior high, and I obviously have a little bit of a beat-up copy, but I just think I'm going to pass this on to somebody else because I haven't read it in a really long time, and I don't really see myself rereading it. If I do, I own the Kindle copy, but I loved this when I was a kid. I just don't think it's for me anymore. Next, we have The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. We have Geek Charming by Ramen? I wish my name was Ramen. Then we have Geek Charming by Robin Palmer. I never read this book, but I loved the Disney movie. I picked this up because I loved the movie so much, but I just don't think I'm ever going to read it. We have The Comeback by Lily Chu. When You Get the Chance by Emma Lord. Touched by the Sun by Carly Simon. And Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I actually read this one, and I did not care for it that much. I'm trying to move these stacks out of my way, but then I realized that I'm going to have to put them back over here anyway. It's annoying. So we have Too Hard to Forget by Tessa Bailey. Well, That Was Unexpected by Jessie Q. Stutano. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I read this one in my sophomore year of high school, freshman year, something like that. I was the only one in my class who actually liked this book. And I bought this because I wanted a copy of it, but I don't actually like this copy. So I think I'm going to find a different copy of it because I do want to have it and I want to reread it. I just don't like this copy. Then we have The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. This was the worst book I've ever read, probably. No, I take that back. I read Layla by Colleen Hoover. That one was the worst book I've ever read. But this takes a close second. I don't know why people are obsessed with this book. It's awful. And the movie, I've never watched it, but I'm assuming it's just as awful. Then we have Too Wild to Tame by Tessa Bailey. We have Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters by Jane Austen and Ben H. Winters. I thought that this would be really funny to read, but I haven't even read the original. And I just don't think I'm actually going to pick this one up. We have Ellie is Cool Now by Victoria Fulton and Faith McLaren. We have Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. Too Beautiful to Break by Tessa Bailey. So then we have Much Ado About Margaret by Madeline Rue. I believe this is like a take on Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, which is a hilarious play if you haven't read it. But I didn't read this one. And it's all like Regency stuff, and I'm not a huge Regency person, so I don't think I'm going to read this one. But if you've read this and you think it's funny and it is like the Shakespeare play, let me know. We have The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armaz. The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armaz. Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with her, but I just don't think I'm going to read these. Now I don't have any books of hers. We have The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. If you liked this one and you think I should read it, let me know. I just didn't really care for the first chapter, so. Then we have The Thieves' Gambit by Kavion Lewis. A Totally Awkward Love Story by Tom Ellen and Lucy Iveson. Rules for Ghosting by Shelley J. Shore. And then we have Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. Next up we have The Click series by Lacey Harrison. And I read these in junior high, and I was just trying to collect the full set from like thrift stores and stuff. But I don't actually think I'm ever going to reread them, so I'm just going to get rid of the ones that I have. I know it's not the whole collection, but I got quite a bit. This is the worst part. Not knowing where to start. Okay. I guess I'll grab these that are by themselves over here. So then we have Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is book 4. And this is like one of those really cool illustrated ones. I just don't really see the need to have it, so I'm getting rid of it. I found it in a Little Free Library anyway. Then we have 100% Official, Just Getting Started by Justin Bieber. I read that one and I just didn't care to keep it. Same with this one. We have Girl on Point by Chloe Lukasiak. It's not a bad book. It's just I didn't really care that much. Then we got this little Disneyland book, which is just a bunch of like pictures and stuff from like early years at Disneyland, which is kind of cool, but some of the mascots were scary. Like Mickey and Minnie, I'm glad they don't look like that anymore because it's kind of scary. Then we have Winter Street by Ellen Hildebrand. We have Road Trip Summer by Lauren Barnhold. And this is actually 2 books in one. Let me see where the first one ends. There we go. So this is book 1, and then this is book 2. I actually read this when I was younger. It was probably 7th or 8th grade. I really enjoyed it at the time, but I just don't think it's for me anymore. So then we have Where She Went by Gail Foreman. A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. Then we have Text for You by Sophie Kramer. Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. This is the old cover. Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. Dating Dr. Dill by Nisha Sharma. And then we have The Maddie Diaries by Maddie Ziegler and Kinsey's Rules for Life by Mackenzie Ziegler. Again, I read these. I just didn't care that much. I feel like if you were a little younger than me, you might really like these. I mean, if you like Dance Moms and stuff. Next, we have Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. One Fatal Mistake by Tom Hunt. Blood Like Magic by Lucille Schomberry. The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris. Sorry if I said that wrong. We have The Newcomer by Mary Kay Andrews. We have Olau by PJ Lee. And this one is actually signed by the author. We have Last Chance Books by Kelsey Rodkey. I read this one and I gave it like 3 stars. It was cute, but I just don't think I would ever reread it. But I'm like obsessed with this cover. So I kind of want to keep it for the cover, but I'm not going to do that. And then we have The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. We have Birthday Kisses by Monica Murphy. I think this goes after A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. I don't know. I didn't read them. And then we have The Missing Years by Lexi Elliott. We have Miles to Go by Miley Cyrus. We have No Offense by Meg Kapat. We have The Maidens by Alex Michaelides or Alex. I don't know how to say his last name. I think it's Michaelides. We have Tom Lake by Ann Patchett. Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. And then the collector's edition of It Ends With Us. I've already been talking for 19 minutes. So we have The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. Paper Towns by John Green. The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I do have another copy of that one. That's why I'm getting rid of that one. Then we have Quiet by Susan Cain. The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. I was so excited for this one, but the first chapter did not intrigue me enough to keep it. But if you've read this and you liked it and you think I should read it, let me know. Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. Then we have The Cheerleaders and the Champions by Kara Thomas. Jane in Love by Rachel Giving. And this one is a Jane Austen, like kind of retelling. It says, what if Jane Austen traveled to the present day and fell in love? So this one sounds interesting if you're into that. But I just didn't really care for the first chapter that I read, so. Then we have 10 Rules for Faking It by Sophie Sullivan. Then we have Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. Then we have Mrs. Nash's Ashes by Sarah Adler. And I actually enjoyed this one, but I just don't see myself rereading it, so I'm getting rid of it. Then we have Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. How to Love Your Neighbor by Sophie Sullivan. I tried to read this one, and I made it like 7 chapters in, and I just never picked it back up. It wasn't bad, but I started reading it in 2023 and I haven't picked it back up, so I don't think I'm going to. And then we have Meet Cute by Helena Hunting. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Thing. Joe Nutton's Guide to Life by Helen Fisher. The Charmed Wife by Olga Grushin. More Colleen Hoover. We have Ugly Love, which I read. And then we have Confess and Regretting You, and I haven't read either of these. Then we have The Summer Girl by Elle Kennedy. The Upside of Falling by Alex Light. I did like this one, but I just not gonna reread it, so. There's Something About Mary by Cody Hall. And If I Stay by Gail Foreman. Going by Coastal by Delilah Adler. I didn't really care for this one that much. Love and Other Mistakes by Jessica Kate. Just Some Stupid Love Story by Caitlin Doyle. And this one does have sprayed edges, which is pretty cool. We have One Day in December by Josie Silver. Didn't really care for this one either. We have Death is Like a Box of Chocolates by Kathy Aarons. Before We Were Yours by Lisa Wingate. And then we have Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. Will Grayson by John Green and David Levinson. The Next Person You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Then we have The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. Sunkissed by Casey West. And then we have So This Is Christmas and So This Is Love by Tracy Andreen. I really enjoyed this one and I DNF'd this one. Then we have The Sweet Spot by Amy Popel. You Have a Match by Emma Lord. A Brush with Love by Macy Eddings. We have Secretly Yours and Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. What I Thought Was True and My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. And then we have Atomic Love by Jenny Fields. Wait for You by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Sadie on a Plate by Amanda Elliott. It's All in How You Fall by Sarah Henning. Not Your Ex's Hexes by April Asher. The Second Year Single by Kara Tamanachi. Text Appeal by Amber Roberts. And we have Tweet You by Emma Lord. I actually really enjoyed this one when I read it, and I think it's really cute that the main characters' names are Pepper and Jack, like the cheese, because her family owns like a burger restaurant and his family owns a deli. So it's just really funny. And then we have Throw Like a Girl by Sarah Henning. The Stolen Lady by Laura Morelli. Built to Last by Erin Hahn. Yes Please by Amy Fuller. And Heartbreakers and Fakers by Cameron Lund. This one was okay. I feel like I would have liked it more if I was in high school when I read it, but I didn't care that much. We have The 7-10 Split by Carmen Lee. The Game Changer by Lana Ferguson. Do I Know You by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. Beach Cute by Beth Reckles. From the Jump by Lacey Walden. And You've Reached Sam by Dustin Theo. I don't know how to say his last name. My bad. Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy. The Dirty Book Club by Lacey Harrison. We Can't Keep Meeting Like This by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Paper Hearts by Ali Novak. Begin Again by Emma Lord. So we got Get a Clue. Like I told you guys, I was going to keep this one out of my last Unhaul, and then if I didn't read it at Christmas time, get rid of it. I didn't read it. There we are, sticking true to my word. Then we got Pucked by Helena Hunting, and this one also has really cute sprayed edges. I just don't think I'm going to read it. The First Phone Call from Heaven by Mitch Albom. We have Losing It by Kara Carmack. Comfort and Joy by Kristen Hanna. She Gets the Girl by Rachel Lippincott and Allison Derrick. And then we have the Kissing Booth series by Beth Reckles. So we have The Kissing Booth. I hated this book. I loved the movie. The book sucked. And then we have Going the Distance, One Last Time, and The Beach House. This one was okay. I didn't read the other two though. And then we have My Epic Spring Breakup by Kristen Rockaway. This one was cute, and I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if I was in high school when I read it, but it wasn't bad at all. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I haven't read this one, but I also have another copy, so we're getting rid of this one. And then we have The Boy Toy and The Man Band by Nicola Marsh. We have The Breakup Vacation by Anna Garicia. We have Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins. Meet Me at the Cupcake Cafe by Jenny Colgan. I had this book on my shelf for years, and I tried to read it, and I couldn't get past the second chapter. I was just bored. So we're getting rid of it. When did this come out? This was published in 2011, but this copy was 2013, and that's probably when my mom bought it for me. It was 2013, and I just couldn't get into it. We have Island Affair by Priscilla Oliveris. Sanctuary of Shadow by Aurora Osher. Sorry if I said that wrong. This one also has sprayed edges. Really cool. Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I just didn't care about this one at all. Then we have The Book of Two Ways by Jodi Picoult. We have The Uncoupling by Meg Waltzer? I don't know how to say that name, but we have The Uncoupling. The London Seance Society by Sarah Pinner. I got this in a Little Free Library video, and then I tried to read the first 2 chapters and I couldn't get into it, so it's going back to a Little Free Library. I Almost Forgot About You by Terry McMillan. Hollywood's Dark Prince, Walt Disney by Mark Elliott. Then we have The Wedding Date and The Proposal by Jasmine Guillory. And then we have Boyfriend Material and Husband Material by Alexis Hall. Then we have Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, and Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welch. Then we have Prom Chanted by Morgan Matson. We have Eris Takes All by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. I believe this is their first young adult book or one of their young adult books. I don't know. Threads That Bind, and I don't know how to say this author's name, so I'm not even going to attempt it because I'm going to butcher it. Then we have Undead and Unpopular by Mary Janice Davidson, and this is an autographed edition that I got at a Little Free Library. But then I realized that it's part of a really long series, and this is like book 6 or something, so we're gonna put it back in the Little Free Library. Then we have The Getaway List by Emma Lord. Marley and Me by John Grogan. This movie is so sad. I just don't think I could read the book. One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. Spells for Lost Things by Jenna Evans Welch. Before Tomorrowland by Jeff Jensen, Jonathan Case, Brad Bird, and Damon Lindenoff. 5 Broken Blades by Mai Corlin. Sorry if I said the name wrong. I don't know. This one also has sprayed edges. Then we have An American Original Walt Disney by Bob Thomas. I like how Mickey's over here. It's really cool. The 1 in a Million Boy by Monica Wood. The Engagement by J. Courtney Sullivan. We have The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. Under Lock and Key by Lana Ferguson. The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. Didn't See That Coming by Jessie Q. Stutano. Love and Lattes by Beth Reckles. To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. Soulmates by Jen Frederick. Shipped by Angie Hockman. The Rom-Com by Devin Daniels. Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. Hate to Fake It to You by Amanda Sellett. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangui Mandana. I don't think I said that right. I am so sorry. The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. Casket Case by Lauren Evans. A Fragile Enchantment by Allison Saft. This one was okay. I just feel like it was kind of misleading on what it was about because it was more Regency romance than the fantasy elements that it was talking about. The Makeup Test by Jenny L. Howe. So I know that I got this in my, I think my birthday vlog, and I mentioned how excited I was to finally pick this one up because I look at it every time I go to the store. And then I read the first chapter and I was like, what is this? I don't like this. So, and then we have Red Rising by Pierce Brown and Pure of Heart by Delilah S. Dawson. Then we have Aladdin by Elizabeth Rudnick and Beauty and the Beast by Elizabeth Rudnick. Finding Chica by Mitch Albom. Two Wrongs Make a Right by Chloe Leese. I tried to read this one and ended up DNFing it. I just couldn't get into it. Now That You Mention It by Kristen Higgins. And All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I actually have another copy of this, so I'm getting rid of this one. Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. Didn't really care about this one. To All the Boys I Loved Before series. I read the first one, and I feel like I would have liked it more if I was in high school. I liked the movies way better. And then we have The Summer I Turned Pretty series. I just don't think I'm going to read these. Then we have The Reunion by Megan Quinn. We have Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. So then we have Night Shift by Annie Crown. 10 Things That Never Happened by Alexis Hall. Twin Crowns and Cursed Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. Then we have The Catch by Amy Lee or Amy Leah. I wasn't a huge fan of this one. The Summer of Broken Rules and What Happens After Midnight by K.L. Walther. The hell was that? It's dust. It's dust, don't worry. Then we have The Summer of Lost Letters by Hannah Reynolds. We have You've Reached Sam Again, but this time in hardcover. And then we have The Complete Set of Grimm's Fairy Tales by Jacob Grimm and Willem Grimm. I don't know. This is just a really beautiful edition though, but I just don't think I'm gonna read it. Then we have Far From Agrabah by Aisha Seed. We have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. We have In at the Deep End by Kate Davies. So then we have Heaven Breaker by Sarah Wolf, and this one also has sprayed edges. We have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I actually have a copy of this in paperback, so we're getting rid of the hardcover. Then we have The Triumph of the Great American Imagination, Walt Disney by Neil Gabler, or Gabler. I don't know. This is a giant book. This like reminds me of a school textbook. Why did I think I was going to read this? Then we have Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. I have another copy. That's why I'm getting rid of this one. Then we have The Breakup Pact by Emma Lord. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. One Star Romance by Laura Hankin. Float by Kate Merchant. And Throttled by Lauren Asher. This is a special edition of the first one, but I never got around to buying the other special editions, and now you can't get them. So now I have the new cover, so I'm getting rid of this one. Then we have Just Like Magic by Sarah Hochul and Twice Shy by Sarah Hochul. We have Five Survived by Holly Jackson. So I actually tried to read this one and I could not get into it. I made it like 6 chapters in and was bored. If you think I should try it again and it gets better, let me know. But as of now, I'm unhauling it. Then we have A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. What You Wish For by Catherine Center and Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. Then we have The Twisted Series by Anna Huang. I started the first book and thought the guy was super toxic and couldn't get into it, so I'm just getting rid of the whole series. Then we have The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. This one I've heard is so sad. Then we have Business or Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. We have The Reunion by Kayla Olson. Then we have The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek by Kim Michelle Richardson. And we have Ghost by Dolly Alderton. And then we have The Inheritance Games and The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I have all of these in hardcover, and I just don't think I'm going to buy the rest of the series in paperback, so I'm going to put these back in a little free library where I found them. And then we have She Drives Me Crazy by Kelly Quinlan. We have After Hours on Milligo Street by Angelina M. Lopez. Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. And Our Year of Maybe by Rachel Lynn Solomon. Then we have Body Check by Elle Kennedy. The Lucky List by Rachel Lippincott. After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I actually got this one in a blind date with a book and I already had a copy, so we're getting rid of this one. We have The Messy Life of Book People by Pedra Patrick. Sorry if I said that wrong. And then we have Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. Next we have Creeping Beauty by Andrea Ports. Then we have The Last Black Unicorn by Tiffany Haddish. We have Will by Will Smith. And we have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs by the Sensory Comic, and it's literally just a comic book of Snow White. So yeah, these are all the books that I decided to unhaul from my shelf. I don't know how many's here. I will count these as I'm like putting them back, and I'll just like insert a little number right here for you. I got rid of a ton of books off my shelf. So we now have 2 empty shelves. Not like the full bookcases, but the shelves. 2 of them are empty, which has not happened in a long time. So that's exciting. If there's any of these that you actually do want to see me read before I unhaul them, let me know and I will make a reading vlog reading those. So just comment them down below. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video and I hope you have a great rest of your day.